All right, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we have episode 25 of season 3 of the Look In series, a series I do at the beginning of each team season, where I go back, recap the team season, see what the future holds, and look in to what this team is doing. Today's episode is on the Boston Celtics. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. On the road to 1,000 subscribers and closer as the days go on. So I'll support on our channel. We very much appreciate it. Link to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So we're talking about the Celtics today. Celtics lost last night to the Knicks in Game 6. And they are second round exits. Very, very surprising exits after being the champions last year. And I think everybody expecting them to at least make it back to the conference finals this year. They don't end up making it back. Lose a very tough series to the Knicks where they blew two 20-point leads in game 1 and game 2 at home, where they died by the 3 after living by the 3 for the past year. And then Jason Tatum suffers a torn Achilles. And then they get absolutely demolished in game 6. And now here we are, where there's a kind of a lot to be determined for this Celtics team. A very, again, disappointing end to a year. Where they were, still looked at it to be, champions and going far and all that stuff, still having the team. And obviously a lot of things changing out with this series loss. One of them being Jason Tatum's injury. A torn Achilles is serious business. And he's still very young, and I expect him to come back. But really, it's more of the when is he coming back and how much of the season he's going to miss next year. I assume he won't be ready for opening night. You assume he's probably going to miss a little bit of time next year. It just depends on how long is he going to miss the first half of the season. He's only going to miss a month or two. We never really know. And that obviously puts a big dent in things because Jason Tatum. I mean, he's the star player of the team. He's the top 10 player in the league still. And not having that is big. But besides the Jason Tatum injury, also, what will the team look like next year? This offseason is going to be big for the Celtics. There was reports coming out a couple weeks ago before this series started and all that stuff about the Celtics potentially having to make some moves in the offseason because of the new CBA, the new second apron. This team is very, very expensive. Everybody's already paid. I'm looking at the salary cap table right now. Jaylen Brown's getting paid $49 million this year. Jaylen Brown's going to get $53 million next year. Jason Tatum is estimated to get about $54 million. That's already $107 million tied into your top two players. Then you have Jrue Holiday at $32 million. Kristaps is getting $30 million on the last year of his deal, so he's eligible for an extension this offseason. I think Derek White's getting $28 million. So your starting five is getting paid about, let's say, 139, 169, about almost close to $200 million in your starting five. Almost $200 million tied into those five players. And there's reports saying that the Celtics are eventually probably going to have to make a move or two to try to stay under, the second apron. And what those moves would be probably getting rid of Jrue Holiday. I mean, Jrue Holiday still has 2 years left in his deal worth $32 and $34 million, and it's a $37 million player option in 2028. He did not have a great Game 6, but I guess if there's anyone you have to kind of get rid of, it's probably Jrue Holiday, because you're not getting rid of Tatum and Brown, obviously, and the Derek White is such an integral piece of this team. I guess Jrue Holiday is probably the first on the chopping block, which really sucks because Jrue Holiday is a winning player. He won you a championship and all that stuff, but to make ends meet, Jrue Holiday might be a move. And obviously, I think a lot of teams would love to have a Jrue Holiday. And then Porzingis. He dealt with that illness and injury late in the year, and they said, he didn't really play the second half of Game 5 because he couldn't breathe. He's on the last year of his deal. I assume maybe he's on the move too, which really sucks because he kind of made this team what it was last year. He was like, when you put him on this roster, I feel like it's like, this is unstoppable. But he's going in the last year of his deal, $30 million. Obviously, he's eligible for an extension this offseason, and the Celtics willing to pay him after, with the injury concerns they have for him and with this illness he has now that still is kind of undetermined. We don't know how his conditioning is going to be. Is he going to be right again? We don't really know. So I guess it might be time for the Celtics to move on for him. You still have Al Horford as well. Al Horford, is he going to retire? I don't know. There's reports saying he's not, but there's a report today earlier that said he's still processing through things. And, you're going to have to pay him some money. You don't have to give him $30 million, obviously, but you're going to have to pay him and keep him around if he wants to stay, because Al Horford is another important piece to this team. The good thing is you already locked down Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser and all them, so you're good there. The only free agents you have right now are Luke Cornett, I assume, who was really good in that one game, but it's not a end of the world if you lose him. But this other team could look really different, man. I mean, again, Drew Holiday and Porzingis could be on the chopping block, could be on the move, and obviously teams would love to have those two guys on their team. So you're gonna get probably something decent back for him. You can't get too much back because of money and stuff. And then also missing Jason Tatum to start the season is gonna be a really big blow. So the Celtics might not have a great start to the year next year. This could be a completely different looking team. This could be a team with just Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Payne Pritchard, and a bunch of just other guys on this roster. It's gonna be just the Jason Tatum injury really just changes everything about the future of this team, because if Tatum's gonna have to miss some time early next year, and you're gonna have to probably trade one or potentially two of your starters that were part of your championship team, things are looking a little rough for the Celtics. Obviously, they're still going to be okay because you have Jaylen Brown still, you have Derek White, and Tatum will be back eventually. You assume he's still going to be good. I don't think he's going to fall off a cliff. And what you get back for Jordan and Porzingis could be solid enough to carry you, but it just really sucks that they couldn't really capitalize on this team, because this all even coming into the season, everyone knew it was coming. After they paid Derek White, they paid Drew Holiday. And it was like, okay, they're gonna have to make a move soon. They're gonna have to make a move, so they really only have maybe one, potentially two more chances at at this with this team. And unfortunately, this year they weren't able to capitalize on early exit, not even making a conference finals appearance with this team. And now it's like, dang, like how many more times are we gonna really have to be true contenders? Like obviously they're still gonna be good with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, but how long do we have left to be like true? Like we're the favorites, top two, top three team in the league type of contender. You know what I mean? And there's not that many years left. I mean, the good thing is, again, you still have Tatum and Brown. You still have the Jays, and they're still in their 20s. So you're going to have a lot more times to be good and a lot more chances to still build around this team, especially with how long these guys still have 4 or 5 years left on their deal. So they're going to be around for a while. But really, it's more of just like the surrounding pieces. How many more times are going to be able to put good enough surrounding pieces around these two guys to compete for a championship? Because now we're going to have to, with the second apron and all that stuff, the second apron just changes how team building is. Like you don't get rewarded for making good moves. Making the Jade trade was an amazing move. Man, the Porzingis trade was an amazing move. The Derek White trade 2 or 3 years ago looks like a steal right now. Like they made some great moves that, awarded them with a championship. And yet, because of the new second apron and stuff, they're not going to be able to keep this team around for as long as they probably should have. If this is the old CBA, we'd probably be running back next year. Maybe another year or two running back. Now, can't really do that. So they're going to have to break some parts of this team. Again, they're still going to have their top 2 stars, superstar, all-NBA type players. So they're still going to be in a good position. But it just sucks that they're going to have to kind of get rid of this team that they did work so hard for. And it sucks they only could get one championship out of this team. But yeah, praying for Jason Tatum, obviously. Hope he comes back as soon as possible next season and Celtics can get back going. Very interested to see what the offseason brings for them. Who are they going to get rid of? What are they going to get back? How good is this team going to be by the start of next year? What this roster is going to look like? What the surrounding pieces and bench are going to look like? But I don't really have a lot of fear that Boston's going to drop off a cliff and all of a sudden they're going to be a 42-win team. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. Unless some crazy circumstances happen. But, just very interested to see what they put around the Jays and how, again, like I said earlier, how many more times does this team have to be like a legit contender. Not just like a good team, but like a legit contending team, But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn on notifications, doing all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Once again, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. All support on our channel, very much appreciated. There's a playlist up here somewhere. You can go up and check out the other episodes of this Look In series. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.